We have heard now from Keir Starmer. He's in London, he's at a housing visit, business as usual, it's connected to a policy. This is what he had to say.
Let me start by saying this was a very good victory in the by-election, and I've sent my congratulations to Andy Burnham, and I repeat them here. And actually my thanks to all of our activists and members who fought so hard over the last few weeks in what turned out to be a real battle of values, Labour values, against divisive reform values and a very divisive candidate. So that is a really, really good outcome. I think it's further evidence, actually, if you look at it in the context of other by-elections, that the tide is turning on reform, that they can't now win by-elections. They've reached probably the peak of their support and it's going down. So very good. Congratulations to Andy Burnham. But actually, tide is turning on reform as well. So this is really important in that respect.
My question is about whether you phoned him and whether you still plan to take part in the imminent leadership contest, because today we're seeing MPs who were loyal to you now saying your time is up.
Well, I haven't spoken to Andy directly yet, but I will. I have sent my congratulations to him, so we're very clear about that. And it is a really important victory that he's got there. In relation to what happens next, obviously, we had a mandate 2 years ago to carry out change, and we've done incredible things. 2 years ago, people said to me, it's not possible to stabilise the economy and invest in your public services and bring down waiting lists. You're going to have to choose one or the other. We've done both. 2 years ago, people said to me, it's not possible to get migration down from the level that the Tories left it at, which was nearly 1 million. We've brought it down to a fifth of that number. 2 years ago, people said it's not possible to get a much closer, better relationship with the EU, given what's gone on. We've achieved all that. So a huge amount has been achieved. There's more to do, and that's what I'm focusing on. What I was elected to do, which is to serve my country.
Talking about your legacy, Prime Minister, the vast majority of ministers and backbenchers and special advisers I speak to say in private they think you're finished. Is it time to set out a timetable today?
I think it's really important to put the achievements that we've already achieved into context, because when I talk about stabilising the economy, when I talk about bringing waiting lists down and getting migration down, I'm talking about projects like this. I'm talking about people who need houses, businesses that need to thrive. That's what drives me every day. I was elected here to serve my country with a mandate that we secured at a general election 2 years ago, a very considerable mandate for change. We are carrying out that change. A lot of what we've achieved, people told me wouldn't be possible. If we'd sat here doing this interview at the general election 2024 and you'd put to me, in 2 years' time the economy will be stabilised, in 2 years' time waiting lists will be coming down, in 2 years' time migration will be back under control, in 2 years' time we'd have had the EU in the relationship we've got, and in 2 years' time reform would be on the run and the tide would be turning, I would have said that would be a very good place to be, but that is the place we are in.
Stan, are you going to be involved in a leadership contest or not?
Well, there isn't a leadership contest at the moment. There isn't one at the moment. But as I've said on many, many occasions, I don't think that's a good thing for the country, to plunge us into chaos. I would also add that now that Andy has won, which is really important, really good, he's a huge asset to us, then now will inevitably be a Manchester mayoralty by-election starting straight away. So it's important that we pull together for that. But if there is a contest, just to be clear with you, then yes, I will run, I will stand, and I've said repeatedly I'm not going to walk away from that.
Prime Minister, thank you.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
Well, let's bring in Beth Rigby. I will run, I will stand, I'm not going to walk away from that. Pretty emphatic from the Prime Minister.
Look, as I was saying earlier, Sophie, it was very clear to me this morning as dawn broke and that incredible result landed here in Makerfield that back in Westminster, Keir Starmer was not going to budge. And you heard that crucial bit at the end of that short interview there. If there is a contest, just to be clear with you, then yes, I will run, I will stand, and I've said repeatedly I'm not going to walk away from that. Keir Starmer is digging in, as I expected he would, having seen him in Evian this week, having interviewed him, and he was very clear about where he stands. Now, Broadly in that clip, he congratulated Andy Burnham. He said he'd sent his congratulations. As I understand it, I don't think they're going to speak this weekend. I think Andy Burnham is going to give a bit of a rally to his supporters, and then he's probably going to have some downtime and just take in the enormity of it all and just take a beat. Keir Starmer told me in Evian at the G7 that he expected to speak to Andy Burnham next week, so maybe a bit of a holding pattern there. But when he was asked about his position, leadership, you heard Keir Starmer then going on about the mandate he had, that in 2 years he went through some of the things he feels he's achieved, migration coming down, NHS waiting lists, stabilising the economy, and he kept repeating what I thought he would, which is, I've got a mandate to serve and I intend to continue to serve the country. Now, I've also had, though, today a bit of pushback from some of the sources in Greater Manchester. They are clearly telling me that they want Keir Starmer to set out a timetable, that it is inevitable that he can, to quote one source, either have a bloody exit from number 10, in which there is a big battle, or a dignified exit. And sources around Greater Manchester have noted that Keir Starmer at the G7, in those interviews, in the one I did and with others, made it very clear that it was now for the Labour movement to come together to win the Greater Manchester mayoralty race, trying to kick the can down the road as to any challenge from Andy Burnham. Sources here are telling me that what they need to do to win the Greater Manchester mayoralty is for Keir Starmer to set out a timetable, because he is the drag on the Labour vote, that they're going to struggle to get people in Greater Manchester to vote for Labour if Keir Starmer is not standing aside. And what they are telling me up here in Makerfield is that they want Keir Starmer to set out a timetable before the Greater Manchester ballot. We think it's on July the 30th, that they want an orderly transition. And so here you're seeing the lines of battle now being drawn. A Prime Minister saying that he's going to carry on and fight. Andy Burnham's team asking him, pressing him for an orderly transition. I think also, let's see what the Cabinet do. I'm told that there is an expectation that the Cabinet will turn the screws this weekend, although one source close to Burnham told me that they were trying to get people not to resign because they want to try and have an orderly transition rather than some sort of nasty, messy bloodbath that only causes division, and actually the country don't much like it. You saw how they reacted to some of those Tory battles. We're going to hear from Andy Burnham soon. I imagine that he's going to want to try and put aside right now this talk about leadership. He wants to savour the win. He wants to congratulate his team. They have done an incredible job in beating the odds with 55% of the vote share in Makerfield, in what was the hardest seat really to fight for Labour in the Northwest, on the back of what Reform did at the local elections when they took every council ward in Makerfield. They took 24 out of the 25 seats up for grab on the Wigan Council. This, in normal times, would have been a shoo-in for Reform, or it should have been, but Andy Burnham's personal brand has helped to carry it. They're going to enjoy that here now, but next week it could get very bloody. And one final thought, the unknown is what will others do. It's not in Andy Burnham's control or in Keir Starmer's control completely. What might Wes Streeting do? Might he decide to trigger a leadership ballot? And they're all in a leadership race, whether Keir Starmer wants one or Andy Burnham wants one. So it really is up in the air. But I think there might be a sort of false sense of calmness over the weekend before it really kicks off next week.